Hi, this is Hidden in Plain Sight. I'm starting this channel for three main reasons. The first reason is I would like to share my story and speak the truth about what has happened to me, what I'm learning, how I'm healing, and the other thing I would like to do is I'm also hoping to find my missing children. More on that later. The final thing that I'm also hoping to get out of this channel is by trying to reach out to more people. I'm hoping to find more people like me who have been through what I've been through. I'm also hoping to find more support of people who are willing to stand by me and potentially share any resources that they may have as well. I have tried a lot of local resources already, and some have been helpful, but most are limited in either their funding or in what they're really doing. Many times I've been finding that a lot of local resources are typically about raising awareness for these things instead of actually helping victims of these things. That would not include the one organization that did help me get about a year of physical therapy covered through their funding, but all others have appeared to shown me that they want to help, but then when challenged to do so, they kind of fall flat. And that has been quite disappointing. And while I am a follower of Jesus, which, to be honest, if you hear the rest of my story, most people would be quite surprised to hear that. And I am hoping to potentially find other fellow believers who are willing to stand by my side through this journey, to stand by other victims like me that need the help and support. We really need a rallying of Jesus' people. His body needs to be more complete. From what he has been showing me, he is not completely his whole body because people are not being his hands and feet and other roles in his body and in his church. And the time is even more important for that sort of thing. So, I don't know really what I'm asking for, but I hope if you have listened this far that you would be willing to hear my story and be open to what I may challenge you about. Be open to what I am going to throw out there. I know that a lot of the topics that I will be covering, which are experiences that happened to me personally, are going to be very difficult conversations. They're going to be very difficult things for me to share. It's still hard for me to talk about, but I also know that I'm feeling like I can't stay silent anymore, and I'm feeling like I'm feeling like something needs to be shifting. And I think the more I talk, the more I share my story, the more the truth gets out there, and the more people are willing to truly recognize these things and help people out who need help healing from these things. I don't know. Maybe I'm hopeful, maybe I'm restless, or a combination of all of the above. I'm not totally sure where to get started. I suppose I would like to start with I'm not going to be putting my name out there, whether it be my chosen name or my legal name. So for those of you who come across this video who do know who I am, and I'm hoping are within my safe circle, I ask that you do not disclose my identity at this time. I'm not opposed to being recognized. I am not opposed to people connecting my videos with who I am out there. I am just choosing at this time to not fully disclose my identity, so if you need to address me, feel free to just call me H. Hidden in plain sight is also another option. I am choosing this. Well, part of it I'm kind of hoping will allow me to stay on YouTube as long as possible to avoid any issues there. I'm just kind of sticking with this, starting out and going from there. I will try to include a trigger warning of the topics of future videos when I can. Otherwise, I'm just going to say that if you have a trauma background of any sort, feel free to walk away at any point. There's going to be very traumatic and abusive things discussed, and it could be triggering to you. And if nothing else, I hope that it does stir people up, not in a means to stir up drama, but to stir up a passion and a fire for something different than what we have going on in this world. It's my hope that it will ignite unity and a love for people and a compassion for the truth and for things to be exposed. A lot of what I will be discussing, actually all of what I will be discussing are crimes that have not been legally reported. At this time, I am looking into potentially legally reporting things, but I do not get a sense that it's going to happen, and I'm kind of okay with it. I mean, I'm not saying that I don't want accountability for my abusers or what they did to me, but just based on recent news events and people who were accused of being perpetrators of similar things that happened to me, and how these people did not get deemed guilty, is kind of discouraging. That for someone like me who's not super well known, you know, I'm not a celebrity or whatever, makes you kind of feel like, well, if they're not gonna hold the big people accountable, then are they really gonna hold anybody else properly accountable? And to be honest, if you think about it, jail doesn't really hold them accountable. It just holds them in a cage. That's not holding them accountable. That's literally surrounding them with a bunch of other criminals, and they get food served to them. Everything is served to them, so they're kind of waited on. And I'm not saying that to glamorize or make prison a luxury thing, because I don't believe that it is, but I also don't think it really brings justice to the victims. It kind of, I mean, yeah, it might be like the worst vacation ever, but they don't have to work, they don't have to pay bills, they don't even have to, like, cook their own food, or, like, anything like that. So, what is it that they are actually learning in jail other than from other criminals? I just don't get it. I'm trusting that Jesus' justice is going to be the best thing for me, and if I did pursue any kind of legal action, it would mostly be to get my story out there and to expose my abusers for who they are. But otherwise, I also would also hope that it could be a potential opportunity also to find my children as well. More on that later. But otherwise, I don't know if I see a point in pursuing things legally. It's honestly gonna just probably stress me out more than anything, and it really might not go in my favor like I would like. So I'm trusting if I'm supposed to go that route that Jesus is gonna open the doors for me. Anyways, I named this channel Hidden in Plain Sight because that's essentially what my life has been like, what my abuse and trauma has been like. That's how I would identify what has happened to my mind and my body. My family, my biological family, appeared like a typical middle-class American family. I was born in the USA, in New Jersey, and while there was a season in my life where I was homeschooled, for the most part, I was going to school. I was involved in the neighborhood or the community with my family. I was involved in the church. Southern Baptist Church was one of the main denominations that I was also raised in. But my biological family's ancestral lineage is satanic. I was born into a satanic family, and I didn't know it for over 32 years. Actually, 34 years, I know? Oh, wait, maybe it was 30 years. For 30 years. So how did I not know that I was born into a satanic family for 30 years? Well, part of how they did it was I was brainwashed and also drugged to forget a lot of the abuse that I was enduring. And so, because they were doing this since before I was born, they knew what they were doing. They knew how to do it to get me to forget what they were doing in the nighttime and then treat me like a different person, like not a monster in the daytime, so that I wouldn't catch on to what they were doing all the time. It was purposeful on their part because they wanted to trauma split my mind into pieces so that I could be used within the satanic kingdom in specific ways. This is what they do in a lot of satanic families. Is, a lot of people question whether or not Satanism is a wicked thing. And let me tell you, there are people that identify as Satanists, and then there's people that are actual Satanists. In the same way that there's people that identify as Christians and people who are actual followers of Christ. So there's those that take the title as Satanist, and I believe part of why they do that is under the lies of Satan himself, to kind of be an additional form of cover-up, to be behind the stereotype of that Satanism is a hoax and that satanic ritual abuse is a hoax. And And so there's people that are like, oh, Satanism is just about your own free choice and empowering yourself and all this stuff. That, which to a point is also within the secret dark Satanism that I grew up in. But then there are Satanists of satanic ritual abuse, where they essentially mimic Jesus's kingdom in a satanic way. So, if you are any way familiar with the Old Testament and how the Levites were the priests of Jesus's camp of the Hebrews, and they would do the animal sacrifices and all that stuff to God. Well, there are Satanists that do sacrifices, human sacrifices though, not animal, sometimes animal, but mostly human sacrifices, to Satan and other gods. And so there are satanic priestly lines, and I was born into one of them. I know that's probably a lot to take in right there. There's so much more that I have to say. There's so much more that has happened to me. This is still only just a drop in the ocean that is my life. So I just kind of wanted to... So yeah, I guess I'm gonna just stop there because, I don't want to overwhelm people, and I know that I can go on a rant if I'm not careful. Because there's a lot to cover, there's a lot to share. And so, I don't know. I just, I think I'll let that sink in. And say that if you're interested in hearing more of my story, and if you're interested in being a part of helping me succeed in the 3 goals that I have created for this channel, the 3 goals being that I want to share my story, speak the truth, share my healing journey that Jesus is taking me on. I also would like to find my missing children. Again, more on that later. And it's my hope to find more people who are following Jesus. And I'm not just talking about people that are taking the name of Christian and running with it, because Jesus also said, many will come in his name. So we need to be discerning which Jesus spirit we're following these days, especially. There is a lot of them out there. And I will be glad to share more on what Jesus has shown me to help me to discern the spirits and to identify spirits that are fake Jesuses and other spirits. I'll be talking about those things in future videos as well. I would love for people to be willing to learn the difference and be open to learning and knowing who the real Jesus is, because ultimately he does want to know us. And I'm really thankful that despite all that I have been through, despite being born into a satanic family that desired me to be married to Satan, more on that later, yet Jesus still said, hey, I like you. You can get out of there and you can follow me instead. And I said, hey, there's a better way? There's a way that isn't doing terrible mean things? I will gladly come along. So if you're willing to see how I have gone from that, then feel free to follow and like, and I don't know all the stuff that YouTubers say, but whatever you want to do with my channel that allows you to be notified of future videos and all that, feel free to do that. I don't know, I'm kind of winging this stuff. Also, you are welcome to share my videos, as I do desire them to be shared. I only ask that if you do know who I am, that you do not identify me at this time, and just allow me to do that as the time goes. thank you for stopping by on Hidden in Plain Sight. I look forward to seeing you join me for more interesting and intriguing videos. And I hope that you will be willing to listen to my story and go from there. Thank you again for stopping by on Hidden in Plain Sight, and have a good day, everyone. Bye!